In today's video, we're exploring a fascinating piece of occult history, the Éliphas Lévi Tarot, beautifully restored by Marco Benedetti. Éliphas Lévi, born Alphonse Louis Constant, was one of the most influential figures in 19th century esotericism. He redefined magic as a spiritual science, weaving together mysticism, Kabbalah, and Christian symbolism to form a complete philosophy of universal harmony. This restored deck features 100 cards, each reflecting Lévi's own writings and ideas, a window into how he saw tarot as both book and key to the mysteries of creation. So join me as we step into the magical world of Éliphas Lévi and explore how his vision continues to shape the way we understand tarot today. Hello ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. Hope everybody's doing okay. It's a very dark, cold evening today. So I've got home from work, I've made a cup of tea, I've put my comfies on, I've just lit some candles, and I'm really excited because I've been itching to crack open this beauty. And this arrived a few days ago, and it was in the package with the Rosenwald, which I showed probably 2 or 3 days ago. And then ever since then, I've had my evening class, I've had an open evening at work, and I've just been dying to open this up. And now the moment has come, and I can't wait to get home and get myself comfy and just take my time and really look at this deck. So this is Marco Benedetti's in the presentation wooden box, which is beautiful. Éliphas Lévi's, and now I never know if it's not Levi, like the jeans, but I think it's Lévi, I think is how you pronounce his name. Éliphas Lévi's personal tarot deck. But by that, you know, not a tarot deck that he created entirely. The 78, it's a 100 card deck, but the 78 cards was an existing tarot deck called the Suzanne Bernardine Tarot, which you can get copies of, but he took that, it's got all his annotations and overlaying of symbolism on there, and as well as additional cards to make up those extra 22 cards, which we will take a look at. But if you're, because I'm mindful as well that a lot of people who follow me on YouTube are probably thinking, what's going on with all these historic decks? I've just had that itch over the last couple of months of making sure that I've got important decks in my tarot collection. And it started when I did the video over the summer where I was scaling back. I want decks that represent the gamut of tarot history. And I think this is an important one. And particular, you know, because Éliphas Lévi or Levi is an important figure, you know, in that tarot history. So a little bit about him first, and then we'll dive in. Real name, Alphonse Louis Constant. He was born in 1810 and died in 1875. He was a French occultist. He was a writer, a ceremonial magician, and is often regarded as one of the most influential figures in the revival of Western esotericism in the 19th century. And he's best known for blending mysticism, magic, Kabbalah, Christian symbolism into a more coherent system of occult philosophy that went on to influence later movements such as the Golden Dawn, you know, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, such as Thelema and Aleister Crowley, and modern tarot interpretation that we see today. Again, which I will go into. He has wrote very famous books like Transcendental Magic, Its Doctrine and Ritual, and The History of Magic, which was published in 1860. And they became foundational text for later occultists. Now, without probably even realizing it, the reason I was familiar with his name is because he is credited with popularizing the Baphomet. Now, there is a misconception out there that he invented the Baphomet, and he didn't. It had been around for a long time, but he certainly redefined the image of Baphomet that we know today, which is that goat-headed figure, which symbolizes the union of opposites, I think is the best way to say it. The Baphomet is representative of light and dark, male and female, the spiritual realm, the material realm. We've got the as above, so below, and also things like it's part human, part beast, and he created the visual and philosophical concept that became one of the most well-known images in modern occulticism. And as I said, influencing everyone from Aleister Crowley and his writings to the sigil of Baphomet, which is used by the Church of Satan. So the tarot connection, he was among the first to explicitly link the tarot's 22 trumps with the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, which asserted that tarot was a symbolic key to universal wisdom. His ideas also shaped the magical systems of figures such as Arthur Edward Waite, Pappus, and as I mentioned, Aleister Crowley, who actually, Aleister Crowley believed that he was a reincarnation of Éliphas Lévi. So yeah, in essence, Lévi bridged medieval occultism with modern esoteric thought. And he, I would say he presented magic not as a superstition, but more as a spiritual science rooted in symbolism and universal harmony. So that's just a bit of what I would say is important context. What I also want to say is, those of you who might follow Marilyn from Marilyn's Tarot Clarity, hi Marilyn, if you're watching this, I blame her completely for my purchase of this deck, because I've watched a couple of Marilyn's videos, or quite a few of them now, and particularly if I've been looking at some decks that I wanted to buy for Marco. And then, of course, when you've watched them, they appear, don't they, in your right-hand side on the video suggestions, because it's all linked to algorithms. And I saw a video, it was a follow-up video to, I believe, her unboxing of this. And she referred to this deck as Marco Benedetti's magnum opus. And I thought, wow, there's a bold claim. And so I thought, well, that's one I've got to get and treat myself to, which, as I mentioned the other day, a little bit of a splurge getting two decks together that are of the kind of limited luxury editions, but it's an early birthday present to myself for next week. So Marilyn, thank you for your knowledge on this deck. I will link that video in the description below as well. And Marilyn's a delight to listen to. Marilyn and Marcia in particular have really led me down a path with Marco Benedetti's works, but this one I have to lay at Marilyn's door. I'd love to get her on the channel actually and perhaps interview her sometime, because I want to know more about her and her life, so maybe she'll be open to that. All right, let's bring the camera down. Okay, so just look at this cover. Isn't this beautiful, with this kind of lovely navy blue with these speckled glittery finish? This is just stunning. The whole, and this is all handmade. You know, this is what Marco does. He is a real craftsman, just masterful in his productions. And the reason why it's in like a book format is because this tarot, which is 100 cards, as I mentioned, because there's some of his own in there as well, which he added to either complement the existing deck or replace certain cards, like it has Juno and Jupiter from the Besançon tradition. But there's also other cards that are in there as well that he felt needed to complete the deck. And where Marco has brought this to life is because it was kept in two books, kind of like albums, with the cards in there, and this is to kind of replicate that. So stored in two books, very similar to this box. And as I said, the original deck is the Suzanne Bernardine Tarot. Okay. Let's open it up. So you can see we've got this beautiful, beautiful box. It's like a pine, really gorgeous. Éliphas Lévi Tarot, a reproduction, Marco Benedetti. Yeah, and this is number 31 of 50. Roma 2025, the first one of 2025, as in first printing. It does come with a little book that's in both, I'm assuming, Italian and English. I've not read this yet. I have done a lot of research into Éliphas Lévi anyway, and but it looks like it's got information on some of the, you know, like the Hebrew alphabet. This is the key, and the key is really important. So, Éliphas Lévi wrote about a mysterious engraved key bearing the words TARO. So if you think of, those of you who are here because you like Rider-Waite-Smith, if you think of like the Wheel of Fortune with TARO, he kind of saw a symbolic cipher for those letters as tarot, TARO, ROTA, ROTA, TORA, TORA, ATOR, ATOR, and ORAT, ORAT, ORAT. And within those 5 ways of using those letters, saw that as revealing the hidden wisdom of the universe. So he didn't literally discover a physical key, but rather interpreted this as a philosophical and linguistic key, if that's the right phrase, to understanding the interconnectedness of divine law, creation, and the tarot. And each one, so tarot, TARO, is the tarot itself, the symbol of universal knowledge. Rota, the wheel, representing the cyclical nature of life and fate. Torah, the law, referring to divine revelation. ATOR, a reference to the Egyptian god, the Egyptian goddess Hathor, symbol of nature and love. And ORAT, or ORAT, he prays, linking to spiritual invocation. So he saw the rotation of the letters as a magical wheel of wisdom, and that was picked up, you know, by like Arthur Edward Waite with the wheel of fortune, and it illustrated to Éliphas Lévi that the tarot, which the law of nature and divine speech all reflected the same universal truth. So for him, the tarot was not merely a deck, but a portable key to the mysteries of creation encoded in secret language and symbol. So in short, he interpreted those 5 words in those 5 words encapsulated his belief that all wisdom is one, and that the tarot is both the book and the key to understanding that unity. And I just find that really, really fascinating. So the deck is split into 2, the way we have these ribbons here. So we've got the additional cards, which I mean are just beautiful. And then we've got the original deck, the Suzanne Bernardine Tarot, which has Éliphas Lévi's writing, and you know, he's put Hebrew letters and things overlaid onto the cards. So I'll put the box to one side, and we'll look at them in a minute. I just wanted to also mention what Marco has shared with us. So he said, Lévi created a deck of 100 cards consisting of 78, what we would know as the traditional tarot, heavily annotated and modified cards taken from circa 1839, which is the one that I mentioned, the Suzanne Bernardine Tarot de Marseille. There are 6 alternate trump cards, so we'll look at them first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, 6 alternate trump cards, 2 new trump cards, okay, and then the others I'll come to for a second. So the 2 new trump cards is Hermes, the Sphinx, and this is based on I'm trying to think now, it's a Hindu god, Shiva, the Hindu god of Shiva, to think then. That's where Lévi took inspiration for this card from. We also have, which I love this image, we have Melancholy, which is just, I mean, I kind of wish he just created as well his own deck. You know, I know that he took a deck that was popular at the time and wrote his own, or made his own version of it by overlaying symbols and annotations, and then felt that there was some missing. So these are the 2 new trumps. These are the backs, by the way. I really like these backs. And as always with Marco's decks, just the most luxurious of quality. You can see this raised art card, which is really nice. It's silkier on the backs, but beautiful. Yeah, so 2 additional cards that he felt should be part of a tarot deck. And then 6 alternate trump cards, which were inspired by decks housed at the, I think it was a museum or gallery in France. And these are based on the Veville Tarot, the Tarot de Besançon, and the Bolognese Carte Fine della Torre, which I showed last week, I think it was. So alternate cards is our magician card, the Battleur. Interesting, the scale, isn't it, of the, look how huge the magician is compared to the people watching on. We have Juno and Jupiter. So this, in the tradition of Besançon, they replace the kind of overt religious figures of the Popess and the Pope. And again, he may have felt, even though there are Christian iconography and symbols in his works, he may have thought that, you know, he wanted Juno and Jupiter rather than the High Priestess and the Pope, well, Popess and Pope, as it would have been. And you can see they're numbered 2 and 5 as well. So those two are alternative cards. We then have a Hermit card, which is more Old Father Time. Somebody here, you know, we've got the what we've seen a lot in Minchiati decks and other decks I've shown recently, in terms of the crutches, the wings, you know, time flying, and an orderly gentleman. So we have that. An alternative Sun card. An alternative World card. Got the Caduceus there as well, Hermes. So lots of references here as well, and symbols. But I love it, love it. Okay, then we have cards, 5 cards, I think. Yes, 5 cards that are annotated Aluette cards, as you can see here. Now, you might have noticed that when I unboxed the other day, Marco very graciously included a Aluette deck. It's 48 cards, it's a playing card deck. I think they're missing the 10s. But this is what these cards are based on. But again, they're annotated. Now this deck, I'm not going to show it in its entirety yet because it's not available for purchase. It's not released them yet. But just to give you a reference point, oh, it's beautiful. The colours in all of his decks are just stunning. Let's go down to the 2. So you'll see here, look, this is what that's based on. And Marco's made this deck available, which is just wonderful. Decks that we think are lost in time. Marco's, you know, just with his amazing craftsmanship is bringing them back. And that's why I just love it so much. We have the 3 of Cups as well. I just had the cups, I should have stayed there really, shouldn't I? So you can see the 3 cups here. What else do we have? I don't need to really show them all, I suppose. The Ace of Coins. I'm sure I've just had that. That's the Ace of Coins. So we'll have a look at the coins. I think that's what they are now as well. I'm probably going in the wrong direction, aren't I? Yeah, so the 10s are missing. I think that's just how it was. That's quite different. Am I in the right place for that? It's quite different. I mean, we've got the eagle at the top, but yeah, that's the version that we've got here. And then we have 4, sorry. Thinking there was one in the middle there. And then the 5. Again, different art style, but so they are there for us to enjoy. And as soon as this deck becomes available, then I will obviously let you know and do a little walkthrough of that on its own. And then the others are going to require some more research, because these are 9 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And these are based on Louis Gaultier's Tableau chronologique de l'histoire. I think that's how you say it. Again, very much in terms of occultism, esotericism, etc. But so these cards all added together with the 78 is what gives us our 100 card deck that became Éliphas Lévi's personal tarot deck, and how lucky that it's available for us now. All right, I'm gonna have a cup of tea, sup of tea, and I will show you just how beautiful these cards are. I mean, look at, very often, I mean, I know, you know, we're talking in the 1800s, aren't we? But earlier decks, there's not so much detail, or there's a lot of, because a lot are facsimiles that they kind of wear over time. But even the detail here of the rosy cheeks and everything, it's really quite beautiful. And I think any printing on this type of art card is just gorgeous. Again, look at her skin tone, really beautiful. Here's our Pope. So remember, we do have alternatives for our Papess and Pope, which are Juno and Jupiter. Oh, I love it. Okay, so let's pop them back there for a second. Don't want to get these mixed up yet, although once I start working with them, they'll be mixed up anyway. But for now, and again, you see where the Hebrew letters are, including the Sphinx for the Chariot. There's our Hermit, and remember, we have an alternative Hermit, which is the kind of more old father time. And it's not known, it's a 100 card deck, but it's not known whether, because his annotations are on these cards and those cards, whether he added them in as additional cards. We know there was two new trumps, which was Melancholy and the Sphinx, or Hermes and the Sphinx. But were the others, the other 6 alternate cards or additional? Who can say? Love how the lettering kind of mirrors the positioning of the body here. Same here, look. The arm, the position of the arm, how that fits the Hebrew alphabet letter. It's really clever. It's kind of like blended it into the image. Look at this, around the belly. I don't have a copy of the Suzanne, Bernardine Tarot. I don't know if anybody else does, you know, without obviously Malachian, without any annotations, or might be interesting. Mind you, I'd want it in this quality now. Maybe Marco will release that, or maybe he has in his back catalogue. How the letter here becomes part of the arm and then into the trumpet. Le monde, the world. It is so gorgeous. And here's our fool appearing at the end, card 0. Okay, so that's our majors, and then we've got our cups. I'm not sure where the king is. We've got the queen, the cavalier, and the valet, and then we're going down 10, unless it's at the end. There's king. It's there. It's right at the end. It's just been misplaced in, so it would go. Look at the colours. King, queen. And notice there, they continue in number. We've got 23, 27, 31, 35. So it's interesting, his numbering. I'd imagine, yeah, 39, 43, 47. Not quite sure why he did that. Very simple colours here, yellow, red, and some blue. Really stand out on these cards though. This is luxury, this whole set. And, you know, I think this might be because of the wood that was used. This was a lot more expensive actually than the Éliphas Lévi deck. Our valet, look at his face. Listen to the sound as well of these cards. Our King of Batons. The faces are incredible. Oh, apologies for the Grand Prix race outside. I know I've done a lot of talking as well in this video, and if you've, you know, stuck with me, thank you. I do think, you know, showing a deck like this, it's not just going, oh, isn't this pretty? Particularly because of its significance and who Éliphas Lévi was. I think it's quite important to give that context first. I love the coins in Marseille or Italian deck. Osiris. Again, you can see his handwriting. It's a piece of history, isn't it? 1839. Bernardine, Suzanne. Look at the symbols that have been added to that. Wow. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I'm so glad now that I've got it out and been able to show it. Shuffles beautifully. All of Marco's decks have this quality to them, but this lightness to them as well, which makes them such a joy to shuffle. I should have shuffled these in really, but I think I'll probably add in certainly the 8 additional cards. I'm not sure I'd add them into a tarot reading for myself, particularly because I've got a deck of the Alouette cards, and I need to do a little bit of research in the book here about the other cards, based on Louis Gautier's tableau. So yeah, but all right, thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know the next time you'll see a Marco Benedetti purchase, because it depends on what he releases next and in the future, because I feel that everything that he's produced so far, I've got what I want. Never say never though, because I'll probably watch someone's walkthrough and we will see. But anyway, thank you for watching. Enjoy as we come towards the end of the week. I'll be back. If not tomorrow, then I'll certainly be here on Saturday for a couple of catch-up in cards. Take care, and until next time, go in peace. Namaste, and blessed be.